Paul Gomez, New York, Sjedinjene Američke Države. Pisac i direktor škole American Spirit, živi i radi u Novom Sadu. Veronika, Aljmljaškina, Zagorac. Gruzija, Batumi. Vlasnik agencije nekretnina, živi i radi u Novom Sadu. Nikolaus, Fenes, Beč, Austrija. Asistent na katedri za nemački jezik Filozofskog fakulteta u Novom Sadu.
How did you arrive here? How did you make decision to come to Novi Sad?
Oh, how did we decide to come to Novi Sad? Well, we were living in New York City, and I'd been there. My wife and I, Ivana, who was originally from Novi Sad, whom I met in New York City. We were living there. We had 2 kids. We were living in Queens, and we decided, it's becoming too difficult to raise these 2 kids here. Let's go to where your family is, So we packed it all up, and we came to Novi Sad about 2 years ago. And I have to say that it was a great decision because, my children get to be with their grandparents. They get to play in a less hectic environment. Novi Sad is, as we say in the United States, really laid back. Everybody says polako about everything, and I really like that attitude. The children, they play at the strand, they eat really well. That's why we decided to come. It was for the kids.
Ja sam došla sa mojom mamom koja dolazila ovde kod svoje prijateljici koja je ovde u braku. I došli smo iz radoznalosti čisto, pošto nikad nisam ni čula za Srbiju, kamoli znala. Onda kad smo došli tu, iz radoznalosti možda tako kaže, ali ostala sam ovde, eto.
For now it was, I'm studying German as foreign language, Nemački kao strani, in Vienna. And I'm doing an internship. I'm teaching at the faculty, Filozofski fakultet, as language teacher. So that was like the main reason. There are other reasons why I came to Serbia and not to Cuba or whatever country. Why I came to Serbia was because I was here 5 years ago. I passed with the bicycle from Budapest to Belgrade, I just told you. And I was impressed on the one hand by the beautiful landscape. I really like the country, and it's not so organized as Austria. And on the other hand, by the people, because the people are very easy to connect with and they're very friendly.
What do you like the most here in Novi Sad?
What did I like the most? Well, I gotta tell you, to be honest, and because I'm fortunate enough to have married one, they're really beautiful women in Novi Sad. They are some of the prettiest girls I've ever seen. Like I said, I'm lucky enough to have married one, and so that's the first thing I saw. I really like the way that people sit in the cafes for hours at a time and just really take their time, because they have the time and they really appreciate each other's company. Seeing Zmajovan and all the cafes packed with people not going anywhere, not in a rush to get anywhere. So different than New York City, where everybody's running all the time, trying to get somewhere else.
Od kako sam došla, i ja sam iz malog mesta, nije ni moj grad velik, ali taj mir koji sam osjetila, iako je to bilo 2000-te, odmah posle bombardovanja, svašta sam ovde već kad sam došla čula sve šta se dešavalo. Ne znam, ja sam osjećala mir, videla sam da su ljudi otvoreno, iako su prošli sve te ratove i sve što se dešavalo u Srbiji koliko dugo godina, da su ljudi otvorene prema drugim ljudima, nisu nastrojene onako, nisu zatvorene. To je bilo prvo. Drugo što mi se sviđa, ovde je jako čisto, jako spokojno, jako mirno i to mi je u mojoj kući falilo.
What was your first impression when you came here?
The first impression was, of course, at the border, when I crossed the border to the country. And it was this contrast between Hungary, which was part of the EU. So when we started with our trip, we didn't need a passport until the Serbian border. So this was also kind of now we're going into another country, and we were very conscious about crossing a border. And also when we crossed the border, the first impression was that in comparison to Hungary, where the roads, next to the roads, it's very tidy and you don't have much garbage. In Serbia it was like all plastic bags and plastic bottles. It was like, we're crossing the border to Serbia, let's throw out all our garbage, and it just stayed there. That was like the first impression.
What did you notice first when you saw your wife?
What did I notice first?
How did you meet each other?
Well, you know, I met her in Central Park.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think the first thing I noticed was her eyes. She has these big, beautiful blue eyes, and she's 6 feet tall. So I was lucky enough to meet this really tall, beautiful woman. And so I did eyes first, and then we started talking, and you know, she had a little bit of an accent. Wow, what's going on here? And then, you know, we met, we decided to go have a drink, and we've been together ever since.
Odlazite li u Gruziju?
Ne, nisam bila. Nisam bila od kako sam došla tu.
Vam nedostaje nekada dam?
Bude onako nostalgično ponekad, neki uspomene, ali pošto i tamo se isto menja sve, više Novi Sad nije onaj Novi Sad koji je bio pre 13 godina, pa ni onaj moj grad više nije isti iz mojih uspomena, tako da nekako se izborim sa tim osjećajem, ali lepo mi je ovde.
I don't know if I really know any Serbian music. I like this Sila Kalebal. Sila Kalebal? Is it? It's a Roma song.
Aha. What you don't like here in Novi Sad? What would you like to make it better, to change?
Things. Well, if I could make a decision, I would clean up all the graffiti on all the walls. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the only thing that really I would change. I'd work on making these really beautiful buildings more beautiful.
Pa to je verovatno kao i svugde, ponekad u gužvi nekoj ili autobus ili u saobraćaju ili na pijaci, ali to je svugde, znači naiđeš na tu ljudsku, ne znam kako to da kažem, ne mogu da nađem reći, bezobrazluk, a to mi smetalo i moje kući, tako da, ali taj bezobrazluk bude, ali nikad nisam osjetila da me neko ovde ne prihvata ili mi kaže nešto zato što nisam odavde, jel?
Da se osjećate kao stranac?
Da, toga nikad nisam osjetila. I mogu da kažem da je to mi najviše sviđa, da može se reći u tuđoj zemlji se osjećam kao u svojoj kući.
In fact, I thought about what I don't like here, because I like really much about Serbia. But what I don't like is this kind of carelessness, which you can see with how people, act towards nature, that they throw away the garbage in the parks. I already start picking up plastic bags and throwing them away because I want the place to be tidy. I'm used to this in Austria. And also sometimes on the road in the traffic, that the cars, they don't look if there is a bicycle passing. If you want to cross the street as a pedestrian, the cars, they won't stop. It's this kind of, people are a bit careless. They're friendly but careless. It's kind of a contradiction, but that's my impression.
What makes you laugh? What makes you laugh?
Made me laugh?
Because some story.
Okay. I was walking down Mihaela Pupina, I guess, and I heard this really loud car coming up behind me. And car culture here is the same as car culture anywhere. You have this, you always have a really masculine guy in his really fast hot rod. And so this one is like pumping out turbo folk really, really loud. And so the guy's coming down and everything is shaking in the air, and he pulls up, to the stoplight, and he throws his cigarette, and then he reaches out and he snaps his fingers just like that, and he goes back in, and I just thought that was the most hilarious thing. He's the only person living in his car, in his world, and it just made me laugh.
U poslednje vrijeme biseri koje moja ćerka prosipa, zadnje je bilo juče. Idemo u školu, a pošto ja imam takav posao da idem, vratim se kući, pa odvedem nju u školu, pa opet kući, pa opet nešto obavim, pa kući. Ona mene pita, mama, koliko puta si od ujutru izašla? Pa ja kažem 3. Ona mene gleda i stalno sa ovom tvojom tašnom i na štiklama. Ja kažem da. Ona kaže, pa i nije baš zabavno da budeš odrasli. Bolje ja da budem dete. Pa ja kažem, to je super. Ja kažem, jedina tvoja obaveza je da ideš u školu i da učiš i to ti je to. Tako da eto, to je bilo juče, to mi onako sam ja pomislila, dobro razmišlja ovo moje dete.
There is this very specific dress code. And it's this, like the women are very beautiful with short skirts and very accentuate the body, and the men, they come in the training suit. It's this paradox. And there was also an incident which a friend told me. He's from Serbia, and he had a visitor from Italy. And they were sitting on the quay, and this guy from Italy said, well, Serbia is really nice, but I have a question. Why you have so many prostitutes here? And he said, oh, no, you don't understand. This is the way the women dress here. And it's like, for an outsider, this is really, we're not used to that women dress this way.
Svi znamo za gruzijski čaj.
Da.
U čemu je tajna gruzijskog čaja?
Pa ja mislim da je klima i samo to mesto gde se nalazi Gruzija, da ima to. I ja se sećam sa školom, smo išli, kad smo bili malo stariji, da beremo taj čaj. Jer to bilo komunističko vreme, onda svi smo imali neke radne obaveze, da moramo sa školom otići i odraditi. To je sve ručno se bere. Prebiraš, tačno znaš koji listić treba da ubereš. Ja mislim da je u tome tajna gruzinskog čaja. U tome što se sve radi ručno. Beremo ga, sušemo ga na suncu, ne sa nekim mašinama i šta ja znam, na pravom našem suncu, i onda tek ga upotrebljavamo, pijemo. Da. Samo bih još htjela da kažem da Gruzija je poznata po vinu.
Do you listen to some Serbian music?
Well, for traditional Serbian music, it's probably more difficult for me because, I really like rock and roll. But one of my students turned me on to Ekaterina Velika. And so, I listened to Ekaterina Velika because it's like going back in time to when I was a teenager and listening to like real hardcore 80s rock. So I really got into the 1985 release Ekove and then the 1987 Lyubov. Those are my two favorite because I think they seem to be thematic. They really follow one sound. They were a really amazing rock band. I wish that when I was 18, I've been listening to Ekaterina Velika.
What will you bring to your home from Serbia? Well, normally when I go home, I take something to eat or to drink, and I think you have really good food and good things. But I would take something which lasts a little longer. So I thought about taking dunja, šljiva, kruška, medovača, and vinjak.
That's too much.
Yes, I think you're only allowed one bottle, but I think the rakia, they have a very good taste, Yeah. And I like sometimes, because you can leave it for 10 years and it only gets better, and you can only smell and you remember Serbia.
Šta ste doneli iz Gruzije kada ste došli ovdje?
Nećete verovati, ali pošto ja nisam planirala da ostanem u Srbiji, ja ništa nisam ponela. To je bilo neko putovanje. Ja sam mislila da ću se vratiti svojoj kući, ali tako se desilo da nisam. Ali posle par godina mi je moja mama donijela dnevnik. Spomenar koji sam imala tamo i to mi je to najdraža uspomena, jer kao da deli moj život na do i posle.
Ako odlučite Valeriju da dovedete u Gruziju u narednim godinama, šta ćete to poneti odavde tamo?
Gorki list, Pelinkovac.
I brought some books. I brought 2 guitars because I love guitar. I'm not that proficient in guitar, but I'm learning more and more all the time. I'm going to take some kind of online guitar course soon. What else did we bring? We brought our clothes, our big TV set for some strange reason. Even though 220 and 110 voltage don't really match up, we decided we needed to bring that big thing. Something else. We brought our kitchen utensils. You get attached to your personal possessions and you can't let any of them go. So we packed up an entire container with our stuff and shipped it across the sea, and so we could have a home when we came here. So we didn't just start with the things in our suitcases. Yeah. I have to say that the best thing I brought back was rakia. Really, honestly, it was like, because I think that as a spirit, as an enjoyable drink, rakia is one of the best in the world. I've lived in New York City. I've tasted everything there is, and rakia is one of the best drinks. I would put it up against like cognac or scotch or American bourbon for being just a truly fine drink.
Gde bi nas odveli u vašem gradu?
U mom gradu bi vas odvela na obalu mora. Na mesto koje je meni drago i koje je moja neka uspomena iz djetinjstva. Pošto moj grad se nalazi na obali Crnog mora. Odvela bi vas tamo jer, iako kažu da je Jadransko more najlepše, za mene je Crno more najlepše. Ima na obali skale i onda tamo ima puno tih školjaka. Svi su u tim školjkama. To je bilo moje najomiljenije mjesta. Kad mi se nešto dobro ili loše događa, ja idem na obalu mora. Tamo sednem i gledati u more, ono je najlepše. Zalazak sunca, to je najlepše što imamo. Verovatno sad već postoje neke druge stvari, nešto novo, davno tamo nisam bila, ali to mi je jedino ostalo onako. I miris magnolija dok cveta, to je to. Sesti na obalu mora i osjetiti taj miris, to je to.
There are many really beautiful things, but if you're from Novi Sad, what I can recommend is the Danube Island. There is in the Danube, because maybe that's also a reason why I came to Novi Sad, because it's also next to the Danube. And I was born next to the Danube, and the Danube, it's like when I was traveling with the bicycle to Belgrade, the Danube, it was my sea, it was the more. And I was always swimming in the sea and was listening to the waves every day. So I think the Danube Island, it's an artificial island, it's 28 kilometers long. And you can go there with the subway, number 1 or 6. And it's very nice because you can walk down. Maybe you take the number 6 and you walk down to the number 1 or the other way. Because you walk in the middle of the Danube. And on the one side you have nature, on the other side you see the city, and it's very. I really like this. It's not like the touristic experience, but maybe you can feel something which is part of your home there.
You can't leave New York without walking through Central Park. Yeah. Okay, so now I have a story. Now I remember something about Central Park. Central Park in the winter, when it snows, is a phenomenal beauty. Right after it snowed, before anybody's come out and played or anything like that. especially after a big blizzard, because the trees are covered in snow, and the ground is covered in snow, and all the various ponds and lakes are frozen over. And I remember one time when it was maybe 19 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know exactly what that is, maybe -5, -6 Celsius. I was cutting across the park from the east side to the west side, and there's a lake in the middle of it where during the summer people will go out on boats and people perform at, and there's a great big statue around a fountain. It's called the Pool of Bethesda. And I was just sitting down at the Pool of Bethesda taking a break from walking across the park, and some guy in a suit, he walks over and he tests the ice, and it's hard enough, and he takes a shortcut across the ice in his full suit. He wants to get over to the boathouse or something like that. He can't get around, so he just walks the ice, because in New York people are doing absolutely, it comes to mind, I have to get over there. And I'm watching him as he's feeling the ice, he's stepping with his foot each time, made it all the way across, stepped over the fence, and kept on going.
Imate li omiljenog pevača, pevačicu, pesmu?
Pevača i pevačicu možda nemam, omiljene, slušam srpsku muziku, a najomiljenija pesma mi je Đurđevdan.
The most difficult for me was Helda. Yeah, you see? Helda. It's this
Helda.
buckwheat. Buckwheat. It's
Helda. Heldine pakuljice.
you can cook it like rice and eat it.
Helda, yeah, it's Helda.
Because you have this L and then you have the D afterwards, and it doesn't work.
Čo i ću još uvek brkam, i kad brzo govorim ili kad možda sam zabrinuta, i onda brkam uvek čo i ću.
Oh yeah, of course. Volite.
The one I learned most recently is Palim u kući.
Palim u kući.
That's one I really like.
Okay.
I use it a lot because I'm always fast on the road, so I'm burning everywhere.
Ne kažem loše, nego šelo i tako, umjesto Miloš, loš mi.
Garis, darariš, something like that.
Koji je to glavni razlog koji vas zadržava da ostanete ovde?
Moja porodica. Moj najmilije, moj muž Igor, moja ćerka Valerija. Ja smatram da je moja kuća ovde, jer gdje se žena uda, tu je njena kuća.
Closeness to nature, because the city is not big, and I really like this. And of course they're friendly people.
I'm hoping that my business will continue to grow, and that I learn Serbian, and that I can enjoy life as fully as I can here, and that my family really, enjoys themselves, and that my children go to a good school, and that my wife is happy, and that I finally learned to play that guitar, that maybe I learn how to ride a motorcycle or something like that and drive around Novi Sad. Yeah, I just want to live a regular life, and enjoy myself, just the same as everybody else does in every other city. Gemini, would you fly with me? Oh, Gemini, would you fly with me? Yeah, Gemini, would you fly for me?